Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? We are outside in the garden. Here's Reaper. What's up, man? We are going to show off the plants that we got. Just let you guys see what I have this year. Got some new stuff to plant out here. So for the last couple years, we've experimented with different fruits, vegetables, and herbs. The herb garden behind me here, which we'll check out soon. Planted another grapevine, so we'll see how that's coming along. And I'm going to put all these plants over here in the ground, but I just wanted to figured why not show them off to you guys. I'm still open for suggestions on what you want me to put in the garden. Any types of fruit, any types of vegetables, any types of herbs. We'll go over that. Lady Kenzie, what's happening? Feel weird I don't have my little button thing with me. But if you guys have been around, you see these streams I show off the backyard. Got tons of birds everywhere right now. It's like living in the mountains and living in a town at the same time. There's Mad Storm. What's happening? And I figured I'd try it on StreamYards for a change and see how it goes and go from there. Further AM, what's happening, man? What's happening? So for those who haven't seen what I do with this part of the channel, it's something I fell in love with probably about a decade ago, is growing food, or trying to. And my grandmother, my late grandmother, was definitely my inspiration. She had a big garden, huge grapevine, and a big yard I used to have to cut for her. So I started planting food here. If you go back to the playlist for the Seasoned Rookie Gardener, it's all based on the fact that I'm just trying to, as I go, see what I can do for you guys. Cantaloupe, we had cantaloupe last year. If you check the old videos, the first video with the garden stuff is a rewind of what I did to my backyard. Shows just a blank space, shows how I built this garden over time and then added other parts into it. The grass wouldn't grow on this main part here, so I eventually added turf. I had a friend who had his backyard turf because he has dogs and it was becoming a mess with holes. So he gave me all the extra turf, so I'll show off that. Never really into flowers, but the last couple years I have been. I got into flowers that had a purpose, not just for beauty. So I got marigolds, which were supposed to keep the critters away. I got a groundhogs that live underneath the shed over here. I have woods right back here I'll show off in a little bit as well. I'm going to flip the camera and take you on a little tour here. Just about a half an hour, 45 minutes probably on a stream. Sometimes it goes a little longer. Eventually, I'd like to open this up for conversation and bring some of you guys on. I didn't share out the link to this one, but this is the first time I've used this with StreamYards to where I can play videos and commercials and stuff if I want to. So it's kind of neat to mess around with that. I know there's background music on here too. I've never tried that out. Let's try some background music and see what it's like. We got 8 people in the house. Good to see you. What's daydreaming? No, I don't like that one. So they have some like background music in here, but I like the nature background music. You can hear the bird. I don't know if you guys hear that or how well you hear it. That's background standard. You can even add your own music too. How about it? That's something I might end up doing. But for the sake of this, I just want to keep it real with you guys. Jesse Jackhammer's here. Good to see you. And I can highlight your comments too this way. Azrael's here. Give you more shout outs. Further AM. Kill Shot. Kenzie. Atticus. Brian LG gave a shout out when I dropped the link the other day. Definitely pop in. What's up, Pete? What's happening? So the music comes in pretty well. That's cool. I've never used that aspect of this. So if I wanted to do music in the beginning until you guys filled up or whatever, that's cool. Great to see everybody. So we're going to go through the garden. Please feel free to leave comments on this stream if you want to drop what I should grow. I might not have much room after I show you what I have here tonight. I'm waiting for about the 5-minute mark here, and I'll give you the tour. I recently cleaned out. So I basically have a rock garden, an herb garden, a vegetable, and fruit. Fruit, I just have a grapevine. But last year I added a blackberry bush. I got one stinking blackberry from that blackberry bush. But this year it's got a bunch of flowers on it already. I added a blueberry bush. So we'll see how those are doing as well. I'm up for recipes, do's and don'ts. I am a novice at gardening. I've learned most of this by myself in YouTube videos. So feel free to give me tips, tricks, tell me what I'm doing wrong, what else I should try. And actually, I'm going to ask for your opinion on something here from the community. I want you guys to let me know where I should plant this big flower. My parents historically have had hydrangeas in there, and they bloom with these big globes of color, which you can change by how you feed it, which is pretty interesting. I wanted a blue flower, so I found blue hydrangeas. We're going to put those somewhere out here. I want your opinion on where I should put those. I got zucchini. I got cucumber back. We're not doing cantaloupe and watermelon. If you go back to the old videos, please go back and check them out. I mean, even the first video, the first garden video, if you check that one out, it shows how the progress of this yard came to what you're about to see. And I got a bunch of dirt I have to put in yet. I have onions left over. So I did plant, those don't smell that great. These are the onions that weren't so great, but I planted white and yellow onions this year. So the guy who I get my onions off of had a couple different kinds, so I figured, why not? Let's give it a shot. So we got white onions. I've already planted about 40 of them, lining some of the garden beds, and our regular yellow onions too. I'm going to plant radish. I'll go around. I'll show you the little labels on everything. Yeah, the watermelons were an epic. We had a watermelon, what was about this big, but there's one stream. I tell you what, I never laughed so hard. The one stream last year where I was sitting at a table and we had our tiny little watermelon, our tiny little cantaloupe, and I cut it open and we legit had at least 1 or 2 slices of cantaloupe and watermelon. But you see the clematis back there growing. You see the flowers behind me. Wait till you see those. So I'm trying to figure out how to start this, where to do it, because I don't want these videos to be really long. I just want them to be, here's what we got this year, and then I'm going to plant them. So I'm not going to waste time on this video actually planting. Today, I'm just going to give you the tour, show you what I got, show you what's new. And I want your opinions in the comments. What do you want to see me plant or try to grow? All right. And then eventually I'll bring guests on and stuff too. Logan's in the building. Good to see you, Logan. I'm getting used to this. Last time I did it like this, I forgot that I could highlight. Here's what I did this morning. I updated the website. All the way through most of June, all the match shows, at least where they're at, is up, and match cards for all next week for LTD. Hey, Rick, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Yeah, pop in the chat if you're lurking and jerking people, and let me give you a shout out. Tomorrow we'll have the gathering final. There's the bracket. I kept that up there too. I can take that down soon. But let me flip this camera around and let's get to it. How about it? Eventually, I like to do things very plain at first. If you go back and watch some of my old videos, you'll see that I've given the evolution and the the idea that things have just gotten better and improved, and they have, with donations from you guys and memberships. That gave me the ability to get the new PC. Instead of a PS5, I went with the PC. I don't know. People have been teasing me about taking LTD to PC next year. Who knows what 24 may bring? I can start using my marketing degree even more. Let's take a look at what we have. I have a big flower. I need your opinion on where I should plant it. I'm going to show you where everything's going to go. We got a little bit of sun coming through. I know the phone can overheat out here, but my new Wi-Fi router does reach out here, which is good. So I don't have my clapping device here. We're going to start on the herbs. Let's start on the herb garden. And we'll flip this camera around. This is the only thing I don't like about this, is it doesn't have a real quick way to flip the camera. There you go. All right, so we do have some of these planters, hanging planters we'll put on the porch, probably with basil. Plant it in the ground. Great advice, Rick. Well, actually, since Rick said that, we're going to show you some that aren't in the ground. And this is the herb garden. I don't know if it's morbid or not, but underneath that trellis is where one of my cats will be buried. Under this trellis is where another one will be buried, and then eventually next to them, because I'll get more. But I have 3 rescue cats right now. My grandmother's little things from her garden still remain. There was a little bridge here last year. Nacho. I do have no jelly beans, but I do have green beans. Great to see you, Nacho. So here's my winter chicken dinner. Now this is great. First, let's look at the clematis. Check that out. Those flowers are blooming. The sad part is they only bloom for a couple weeks, and they'll be done But what I want is that to cover the whole trellis. It's almost up there. Same with the second one. And I'm not a big flower person, but I just wanted something that would crawl and cover this whole trellis as well. A little more privacy. I got my neighbor's pool over there that I jumped into. Bird bath, which they obviously use, and now we're going to fill all these up with these plants. My go-to, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. Beans for every meal. How about it? Here's my go-to. Italian large leaf basil. Good old-fashioned basil. I use it in my allspice. So I will put a couple of them here in these big planters. I like the whiskey barrel containers. Little natural feel to them as well. They're fake ones. They're not real whiskey barrels. So I don't want them rotten. So we will plant basil in a couple of these planters and in the hanging planters up top. All right. So here's the thick of things here. We will end up putting oregano in here. Yeah, good old oregano. So what I'll do is take all these herbs, dry them out, and make an allspice to try to use instead of salt and instead of sugar. Now, I tried something different this year. This is another oregano plant. So I have two different types of oregano, but I didn't stop there. I got a third type of oregano. The sun's coming out. So I have oregano. Now, what I don't know about that I did buy, and if anyone has any info I would like to know, is this right here. This is something new this year. It'll die in direct sunlight all the time. You need to put basil in shaded area. Yeah, I have. What I end up doing is putting basil in the far corners here and on my porch in these containers. And the basil, I can just go out on my side porch and pick them. So this is, I'm not sure. Who knows what I can use for marjoram? Something new. It looks like basil. I mean, oregano. It looks like it might climb like oregano. So you guys tell me. I go full screen. No. There we go. Marley, good. What's happening, man? So marjoram, I'm going to plant over there in a separate place from where the, let's see what it says back. These are just planting instructions back here when cooking pasta. So marjoram, I'm not sure what to use. The best marjoram for hanging baskets. So I might actually put this one in a hanging basket. So let's keep that one here and save for one of the hanging baskets with the basil. So we will pull one basil, 4 actually, and they'll go in hanging baskets as well. And those will go on the porch. And I do use this to try to keep the bugs off. So I will spray this insecticide on all the plants, and then definitely wash the plants thoroughly before I cook them or eat them. So we'll do that later on as well. Marjoram is used for medicine. Yeah, like what? See, I like learning shit here. Don't see how it could climb without arms and legs. Ah, ha, 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 ha. So I'm just going to start eating that shit because that's what I have right now. Indigestion, runny nose, a cough, and a cold. Now, that's just allergies. That's good news, though. All right, let's see what else we have. These I enjoyed last year, and I got them from a different place this year. We're going to put them in these front barrels. This is lemon thyme. Now, you can make all the thyme jokes and puns and whatever, but damn, does this add a citrusy flavor to the seasoning that I make. And if you guys know what Danos is, I've become addicted to that. It's all spice as well. So I'm kind of trying to replicate my own Danos, if you will. So another lemon thyme. So we are going to fish. fish for marjoram or fish for thyme? So thyme will go here. We'll have oregano, 3 different types of oregano here in the middle, and that middle one's already going to boom, I can tell. And we'll have thyme here. This is something new. It's lime basil. So this one, I like the fruity smell of some of these, you can tell. And you can get the lime. The lime smell is definitely not super pungent. Trying to buy myself some more time. That's right. So the lime basil we may put in a planter also. Or I'll put it next to one of the other plants over here. We're going to see how much space we have left. Because this puppy is sage to keep the demons and the devils away. Grilled fish for the thyme. Cool. So sage, pineapple, sage. This stuff smells like a freaking pineapple. It's great. And what I did last year is put this in that container as well. What I might do this year is mix these 2 flavored basils in between the regular basil. So we will put lime there, pineapple, sage here, in between, because I know the basil plants will grow well. They always do. This new stuff I don't know about. Now this I only got 1 of this year, and that's cilantro. Actually, no, I got 2 different kinds. So cilantro I will use, and also the coriander, which is the seed. These grow like crazy weeds. We normally put those in this container. But I didn't buy the same cilantro. I bought a different type of cilantro for the other barrel. So for this barrel, we got cilantro as well. A little different, Chinese parsley it's called, but we'll see how that goes. So that's what we have so far for this part. And we have the basil to go with the corners. Now, a regular thing of sage. This is good old-fashioned purple sage. Thinking about putting this one in a planter on the porch. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 planters. So we'll debate that. We'll see what we'll put on the porch. Has anybody spotted the Easter egg yet? Kind of glanced over it a couple times. Something new I've just shown. Well, this is rosemary. Nice to meet you. How you doing, Rosemary? Nice to meet you. Rosemary goes in this thing, and we get a big rosemary bush every year. Rosemary, I like cooking with chicken, grilled chicken, and also a little bit of my allspice. Adds a nice little flowery flavor. So we got rosemary, sage, cilantro, thyme, oregano, and the same on this side, but different types, as well as our regular basil. Cilantro, let's see, check out that comment. Cilantro grows like, yes. So that's why I only keep 1 cilantro there and 1 cilantro there, because if it grows well enough, it's going to cover that whole thing. And what it does, it seeds and falls and replants itself. And I was getting those back every year. Parsley, I stopped growing. I had parsley last year, and I did it every year. All it ends up being is filler in the allspice. Compare it to the other herbs that I have here with all these flavors and scents and aromatics. Parsley's too plain for my allspice. It's just filler to make it more full. And I have tons of that still inside, all dried out. So I skipped parsley this year. Not as flavorful as some of the other stuff that I have. So that is one thing you pointed out. Had anybody seen the tried buffalo style chicken bites? It was delicious. Chicken, harsh on the parsley, bro. Not harsh on it. I'm just saying it's not as flavorful as some of the other stuff. And I'm trying to get a really flavorful allspice, not just mixing, salt and pepper and oregano together or something. And I'm trying to avoid salt, and I'm trying to avoid sugar. So no one saw the, well, I didn't show the whole thing. That's probably why. So there's the garden. We're going to get to that soon because that's where everything else is. But I decided to do something new this year. Obviously, you see on the end the white rocks and all these little planters I made from a corrugated pipe. I just cut it up. Yeah, it's a bland herb, definitely. So does Zoom work right now? I'm trying to get used to. So these will be all marigolds, and marigolds, the scent of marigolds known to keep the critters out. There are deer back there. There's a bear back there. I don't care about the groundhogs, which live over there. We'll talk about that. But flowers, as you see, I started with the clematis, a little more color, and I talked about it, and here she is, the beauty. This is Matilda Gute's hydrangea. So this big, beautiful blue ball of flowers, premium hydrangea. I got to put that somewhere, and I'm not really sure where. Pete is the parsley of LTD. There you go. So these flowers will grow back every year. My parents have had one for decades, and my grandmother as well. So I want to carry on their tradition. There is a salt lick back there in the woods, actually. My neighbor put one back there. He put a place for him to scratch as well, and a place for corn for like the chipmunks and stuff, because we have squirrels, chipmunks out here as well. So I need to plant this somewhere. Now, from what it says, it doesn't need full sunlight. It can be in shade. So the first place I'm thinking is right over there in between that tree and the grapevines to bring some color over there. Do you like that, Patty? That's awesome, isn't it? And I'm not a big flower person, but when I saw these, well, I bought one. I bought one and took it over to my parents' house to give them their parts of these plants. And I saw that their hydrangea was about dead. So I dug their old one up, gave them the one I bought, and went back and got this one because they had tons of them. These are amazing. And I just got to find a nice place because it will grow wider. And I want to make sure I have enough room for it. So I don't want to put it out here in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes we shoot some hoops. Ball comes over here. And I want to keep these areas just open, just gravel. The only other place I thought about putting the hydrangea would be here. And then I'd want to get another one for there. My OCD would kick in. I also have spikes in the ground for critters to keep them away. So the hydrangea we got to find a place for. So that is one of our problemas. Now here's the grapevine. It's already starting to grow. I got to trim this tree a little bit. You see it's already reaching up to try to hook onto the tree. So I planted two of them. This one never grows, so I just planted this one the other day. So I have a new grapevine growing here. And that'll probably take a couple years before it's full up here and filling this side. But if you guys have watched the old videos, I train these to basically climb and climb and climb. And actually, a couple years ago, I just laid this in between the trees, and it's grown right into it. Pretty crazy. Looks like it's rammed up someone's cornhole. So this is where I'm thinking they got artificial turf here where the water runs down. It's going to cut a square right there and plant the hydrangea right there. I don't know if it's too much shade. That's the only thing. I put an old sage plant here. This thing made it through this winter, 2 years. What's up, Odds? You like changing our video games around? So we have, and those are golf balls just in case the groundhogs want to play with them, and I know they're out here. I got 4 baby groundhogs. A mother, maybe a father too, but 4 baby groundhogs that live underneath there. They've torn this whole thing apart. I've tried to barricade this whole side where they used to come out. Oh, there's the kitty. Hey, kitty. She is. All right. You're grading soon. Oh, wait, you're in PR. So, yeah, I even smoke bombed them. They're still going. So as long as they were messing up, they start digging into this landscaping. Sure, I did. You want to talk OCD? Red River Rock, Red River Rock. I basically hand pulled all this rock out, put it around the fire pit, and then slowly picked everything back into the pits. Drop cayenne around your deck and shed, even a mix of vinegar, and spray the area. I tried poisoning. I had mounds of poison I put there. As long as they don't come over into my shit, I don't care. So I redid. You can see the final parts. All these little nuts and stuff, leaves, twigs, were coming down here. So I basically cleaned all three of these. That was a pain in the ass, I'll tell you that much. And we had this issue this year. This got taken down by wind. My neighbor's going to come over and chain it, and we're going to burn it. But I was wanting this tree down for the longest time, and we had a hell. It ripped it right out the damn ground for me. Funny part is, you aim with the tree that's laying sideways, and it's still growing out of the end. It's ripped, just one root still connected. See the leaves on these branches because we still got a couple roots that are connected at the bottom. So a little bit of a natural disaster we had here, but it was a good disaster. I actually had tree guys out here look at this and said they wouldn't cut it down because it was too dangerous to climb. It was all half dead. We're going to turn that into firewood and burn it right there. Yep, naturally the wind just blew that sucker over. I heard a crunch and looked out my back window. We had 4 or 5 trees that were down back here. He's cleaned out a couple of them. This used to be a path right here, if you guys remember. There's a tree that's fallen there. And as you see, man, I told you, it's like living in the mountains as well as living in a town. Tour of the woods. Sooner than later, we're going to get this tree taken care of. There's a little bird. What's up, bird? Those birds loved it when I cleaned those rocks. They were picking out worms, and I found even salamanders under there where the condensation of water was gathering. There was little salamanders living in there. All right, here's the bad boy. Bad boy, bad boy. What you gonna do when I plant in you? It's gonna die. Most of this shit's gonna die. High school goal line sign from when I was in high school. Yeah, I was a delinquent. Farts can knock over trees. Well, if it's a dangerous enough fart. So let's take a look. I added something new. In the back corner, I have, like, once again, I told you I'm not really big into flowers, but I do get one flat of marigolds every year, sunshine marigold. I got this little guy. He had extra flowers. So now I have a compact tropical rose. I liked it because the leaves were like black and gold, almost steeler color, but Steve Rose is starting to bloom on the inside. There's a ant, which I'll be planting ant traps out here. Nice reminder for that. So a new addition. And that flower will start out a line of marigolds all the way up until garden. Welcoming everybody in. The bunny, blueberries, blackberries. Blackberry bush is already flowering, so we should get more than one blackberry this year. It's a little sparse down here. I'd like it to be fuller. And the blueberries I've tried before and only got like one blueberry. So I'm hoping these turn out a little better. So we got blueberries, we got blackberries. These are going to be our tomatoes. And I have a couple different types of tomatoes. I have better bush. Everybody likes to have some better bush. And because of my stomach issues and the acidity, yellow tomatoes. So less acid in a yellow tomato. But I'm thinking of moving the tomatoes instead of here. So I do have one tomato I already planted. I think that's a better boy. But I'm not really sure completely down here. So let's look at what we have. Beans. Nacho was talking about some beans. We got green beans. We're going to be making green beans, flour up, and a big peanut. It's a green bean. There's ants in there too, so we definitely need to lay our ant traps today. You can see some of the onions starting to pop up. Onions that are planted. I'll be planting these green beans in between the onions. And over here, you have things that climb. Not Spider-Man like on my shirt. We're going to try cucumbers again. Cucumbers, they will climb right up this fence and down like hangdangs. In the corner here, we're going with small and even smaller tomatoes. And this is why I was thinking about maybe putting the other tomato plants right next to these so I'll have like tomato corner. We have red grape tomatoes. We have cherry. So really small, no broccoli. Broccoli, I've tried celery, broccoli, and lettuce and failed drastically every time. Do not grow. There is a problem with the soil, I believe, and I've tried over the years mixing in more of this garden soil and mushroom compost. One of my favorites, kohlrabi, or as us hunkies call around here, kohlrabs. It's basically a cabbage apple. The heart of a cabbage, basically. Mainly eating them raw. And I have a ton of these to plant. These will just grow right out and bulb up in the middle like a big ball, like a cabbage head. It'll just be the meat of the cabbage. Over here, I think I need to find a big space for these because we got zucchini squash. So we're going to try zucchini. Although the problem I've had with zucchini before is I don't put it in a good enough area. So I might put it there so it has room, all four of them, and cut this in half. Maybe put peppers up top like they were last year. I like to mix it. So if tomatoes were up there, or peppers were up there last year, peppers come here. If tomatoes were here last year, tomatoes go there. There are onions lining all these plant beds. There are onions lining each one. 2 rows of onions, the whole back here. And there's rows of onions throughout this one too. So no broccoli. If you want me to try broccoli, I can try it. It's hard. When I got them, they were just very small balls. Last year, we built a trellis right in the middle here, and we did the watermelon and cantaloupe that failed horrendously. So here we have our final. It's the peppers. We go with 2 different types of peppers. No hot here for me with my belly. So I used to make a salsa. So I would take basically a pico de gallo is what I'd make. This is a bunch of chopped up vegetables and then some seasoning and oil, vinegar. So we got sweet peppers and we got sweet banana peppers. These didn't grow very well at all last year. So that's why I do kind of want to put them there. We'll see. I'm going to have to make some decisions. The cucumbers should go along the back because I'm. Maybe I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll have a cucumber race. See which cucumber climbs. I have to take all these out, and these will all start blooming yellow. You see how many of them all ready to pop out, these little yellow golf ball looking things. We'll fill up all those little holes. Hopefully we'll have some blueberries, some blackberries. And now it's time to get to work. And that is planting all these today, watering it down. We're going to get rain tomorrow. Fire pit's already nice and chill. And basically, just to give you an overview, it's like I said, it's definitely worth, if you haven't seen it yet, my first garden video, to see that this backyard used to basically just be grass. There used to be bushes along there. I had pavement blacktop come in here to basically give me a parking lot. And little by little, I started with just a little garden here, went deeper and deeper till I used that as the garden. Here's the fake grass. Which looks phenomenal. We already talked about the grapevine. Hopefully we'll have more grapes this year. Last year I didn't have a ton of grapes, but the year before I was finally starting to lose the sourness in the grapes. They were starting to taste a little normal, but they were supposed to be seedless, and they're not. So planting, treating, and then monitoring, watering. Try not to overwater. I learned that 1 year when we had a real rainy season and I was watering through the whole season. Daniel Barry, what's up? Really appreciate that. But there's the goal next time. So all full plants. I'm gonna try to mix it up. That is, and we're gonna see what happens. We learn from trial and error. Grass. Well, after 5 years of grass not growing in this area, no matter what I did, I bought sod and sodded the whole thing. I bought seed and seeded the whole thing, and grass would not grow on this part of the ground. And someone gave me that fake grass, so yep, solved my issue. We'll fill in all these herbs to where they go now. And then last but not least, we'll get that big boy put in the ground. And we'll make some hanging baskets out of these leftover herbs as well. And that's it. That is the whole 9 yards, the whole ball of wax, the kitten caboodle, the entire garden. In the garden. So that's it. That's what we got, folks. Hope you guys like what we got going on. Like I said, if you have any ideas of stuff you want me to try to grow, just put it in the comments. I can grab a broccoli plant and try it, and then you guys can see right on the air what happens with our broccoli plant. So nomination for broccoli. Anyone else out there have any ideas before we take off here? I'm going to throw these old nasty onions just in the ground somewhere and see if they start growing. Normally when that happens, they end up growing a couple good onions. So we will see how it goes. Ideally, by the end of the summer or the midsummer, I'd like to come out here and grab some fruit and have enough to make a salad. I don't grow the lettuce. That's the only thing. I've tried to grow lettuce. It will not grow out here for some reason. It's probably the dirt. Every year I talk about I need to test the dirt and don't do it. But I'm hoping that as I get all these years of good soil on the top, we'll see. Bury a cow and grow a cheese plant. Potatoes, I did. I had a nice planter at my old house where I used to. Oh, wow. That bird is messing with my cat. Or the cat is messing with my bird. The bird, my cat's messing with that bird. Tried to get through the screen door. Potatoes. Yeah, they were about this big. They didn't really get big. And those just grow underground until you get a plant grow up. And as soon as the plant starts to wilt, that's when you pull them. From what I understood, just tiny little potatoes. Talking to them nicely. Be nice, plant. I like you. I'll use my golf voice. These funny because when I planted radish by seed the first couple years, grew like crazy. And I love adding these to salads to add that peppery taste. Um, Last year they didn't grow. Last year I didn't get any radishes, so I'm gonna try those in a different spot too and see if I can grow those again. Lemons, I had a peach and pear tree over there, but I think there was too much shade from that big tree that fell. Um, I don't know if I've ever tried a lemon tree because those grow in a tree, right? I mean, if this works out good in the corner here with blueberries. Now I had a lid on this last year and built like a cage because all the birds were starting to get in there, and I'm gonna get a berry and the bird's gonna eat it. On the other side there, I grew. If you remember, one of the first couple years, it was strawberry. Strawberry just spiders and grows, and along the whole side of that was strawberries. But I hardly ever got berries. Hardly ever got berries because either the squirrels, the chipmunks, the ants would just eat them, or the birds would pick at them. And I try to keep them off the ground, but if they're on the ground, that's another thing I could do over there. Cut a couple holes and dig and bury strawberries. They would grow good over there because there's no dirt for them to lay on and get all wilty. And I'm just worried about the ants. I do have to get my ant traps out and load all 3 beds with ant traps. Any other suggestions? If you're watching the replay, please leave me a comment so I know you stopped by. Give me a thumbs up. I need some numbers on these garden streams so they'll push it out more. Next time I might drop the StreamYard link if anyone wants to pop in and say what's up. I don't know if anyone would care to or not. We'll see. But last year it was almost every 2 weeks I would do one of these. We'll see how it goes. Being that we just planned, I haven't planned it yet, and I'm about to. Probably going to try to come with another one, maybe same time next week. We got a nice little turnout here, and I think later on tonight people can catch a replay. 45 minutes worth of just showing you what we got here to plant, seeing how it goes. Trial and error, people. That's what we're doing here. Seasoned rookie gardener. Obviously a play on words because I make my own seasoning with the herb garden behind me. Rookie because I've never claimed to be a professional gardener, never would. I fail horrendously more than I succeed in growing plants here. I learn every year, though. I find out something new every year and get better every year at what I do. And the beauty of it is just watching something grow, being outside in nature. Like I said, we do have a lot of different types of critters around here. I've seen turtles come out from the woods, turkeys. I told you about the bear. There is a bear in those woods somewhere. Deer, they've seen deer, and neighbors have seen more deer than I have. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hanging out in the yard with you guys, I appreciate it. If you hang aluminum tin pans, the deer don't mess with my garden. Last year, I think once late in the season, they messed with the garden. They ate their whole garden last year. The deer ate their whole garden. And I can tell once the top like tomato plants were being nipped off and stuff, and you could tell it wasn't like wind damage. It was an animal chewing on them. And I've told the story before. Second year I was here, there was a groundhog that was digging under. That's why a lot of these have all the gravel around the outside is reinforcement. It just started as an enclosure. Then the fence got higher, and then I had to put gravel because they were tunneling underneath there, the groundhogs. And then one year, groundhog actually flopped inside of the garden and couldn't get out. Now, I was hoping that was the only groundhog and I was taking care of the problem, but I did have to take care of the groundhog. So I reached into the golf bag and grabbed the club I didn't use very much, which is a 2-iron. And that thing dead covered up almost the entire bottom of my wheelbarrow. I didn't want to kill it. I really didn't want to, but I wanted those things gone if they're going to eat my plants. It was eating everything in the garden. But as long as they stay over there where the shed is, and there's 4 babies. I seen them the other day out there rummaging around. But we'll do updates. I'll take some pictures and send them out to tease and show you guys what we're planting. I might go grab a broccoli plant and see if we can try to grow it. Keep a spot in there somewhere for a broccoli plant. And then we'll be back next week. I'll bring you another episode to show you where everything is planted, how I plan to maintain them. And I'm always up for tips and tricks, like I said. So anybody watching in the back, catching a replay, definitely check. You got me, Rick. Definitely check in check in, drop a like, share it out, just something different for the channel. And like I said, try to find somewhere else where there is a wrestling, gaming, and gardening channel. I don't think it exists. So I'll be that one. I'll be that one as long as you guys enjoy it. Peace, positive vibes, each one of you guys and gals and your families. Be back tomorrow around between 3 and 4 for the gathering, the finals. We'll find out who gets the title shots. And then next week, I'll bring you a little more garden stuff. We'll find out where everything ended up. I'm going to put some burgers on the grill, blast some music back here, plant some plants, enjoy the weather. You guys, if you can, enjoy it before it's too late. You never know when you don't get to enjoy another day like this. It's beautiful out. A little bit of overcast, so we didn't overheat the phone either. Just past my 45-minute mark. So I'm going to say peace. I'm out. And I appreciate everybody in the community, even supporting stuff like this, which they might not like. And those who do, if you know people that would like this end of what we do on the channel, more podcasting, more interviews, more gardening and retro toys and stuff, which I will be back the Legion of Dorks soon. Nacho, we needed the commercial ones all ready to go. Just need to play a bunch of commercials. So we'll check you. I'll see you. And see you in my stream. I'm out, guys. See you around.